Welcome to another episode of Dead with Dave. For all yous that are new to my show, this is a Halloween show. We talk about anything Halloween or horror related. And today we're going to start with home haunts. I got an email from a guy named Aaron Hart, aka GothDJ, here on YouTube. He wanted me to check out his home haunt and give my opinion of it, and I did. And let me say, I was really impressed. Here, take a look at it real quick. It's a cut down version of his video. His video runs for about 10 minutes. If you want to see the whole thing, go over to his channel, GothDJ, and you can see the whole video there. I cut it down, just show you some highlights of it. So here you go, his home haunt. This haunt is located in Ashburn, Virginia. Him and his wife, Jamie, do it along with his good friend, Greg, and his wife, also named Jamie. Two Jamies. That can get a little confusing there. They've only been doing the haunt now for about 2 years, and that's what impresses me the most out of this. You can see it's a pretty big haunt with a lot of great detail. They already got some animated props in there. They got great tombstones. The mortuary, it's a really the mortuary, the mausoleum. It's a really great haunt for only being 2 years old. When he first started haunting, he told me that they only had some store-bought props, a couple tombstones, and things like that. But last year, he got bit by the bug, and y'all know what happens when you get bit by the Halloween bug. And he did. He went all out on it. Awesome haunt. He's already looking forward to next year, like all of us other haunters out there. And he's hoping to bring in some more animatronics, better detail in his older props, and just go a little larger. He has an awesome space there. He did tell me he uses kind of a common area in his area. It's not really his property. He's just kind of using their common area. I guess he's in the development or whatever. He's using that. He told me he asked for permission. I hope he did. Especially for haunters taking up common areas. It's kind of a no-no in some areas. But yes, awesome haunt. Very impressed, Aaron. Thank you again for showing me the video. And if anybody wants to go check him out and go subscribe, again, his name is GothDJ. It's going to pop up over there by her head. And go subscribe to him. He only has a few subscribers. He's going to be a guy to look out for. Very impressive haunt, and I can't wait to see what he brings for 2012. Well, I think it's time to bring in the professionals. With Transworld being on the way, it's a great time to talk about some professional haunts. Now, the great thing about Transworld being in St. Louis, Missouri, is that there are several haunted attractions within driving distance, just a couple miles away from the expo center itself. And one of the biggest ones that I absolutely love, I was there last year, was The Darkness.
You have entered my darkness, the pits of hell, the depths of despair. You will torture your soul in hell for all eternity and rip the flesh from your bones.
Now, I've been through many haunted houses. I'm kind of an addict when it comes to them. I try to go to about 10 to 15 haunted houses during the Halloween season. And this is just an added plus, being able to go there in March and do a haunted attraction right in the middle of the off season, which is great for me. But I've been through haunted houses from the small little hay rides all the way up to the full-blown theme park haunted house in Universal Studios in California. And let me say, Darkness is definitely one of the top leaders in haunted attractions. This thing is massive. Over 36,000 square feet, stuffed with animatronics, detail that rivals Universal Studios, Disney World. You know, a lot of people go compare the level of detail to a haunted attraction to Universal or Disney. This kicks Universal's ass. That's how insane this haunted house is. If you've never been to The Darkness, that's definitely one of the haunts you really should travel to. It's insane. I pulled a clip from last year, 2011. It was a promo clip they had put on YouTube. Pull the clip. Here, take a look at it real quick. It explains a lot of what The Darkness is.
The Darkness Haunted House, located in downtown St. Louis, Missouri, right next to historic Soulard Market, is literally America's best haunted house. Every single year, we make an emphasis to put The Darkness over the top. We're not competing with other haunted houses in St. Louis or Missouri for that matter. We're trying to be the best haunted house in the world. The Darkness Haunted House is one of the only haunted houses in the entire country that literally go under massive renovation by a team of creative artisans, special effects masters, foam sculptors, and haunted house designers. When you go through the brand new 2011 Darkness, you will not believe your eyes. You will think you are right inside a real Hollywood movie. The whole theme of the downstairs is phobias. Phobias against deadly reptiles. This year we actually have a live animal exhibit with unbelievably deadly snakes. Like cobras, anacondas, rattlesnakes, scorpions, spiders. And when you're in the queue line, be prepared because they do strike. We pulled out all the stops building this incredible snake room this year. We created this massive over-the-top snake, something you would really only see in a major Hollywood theme park, that comes out and literally tries to put its fangs right into you. We built a massive spider room that has a 22 motion giant tarantula that crawls out and tries to put its fangs in you. So one of the things we built was this really incredible elevator set, giving you the sensation that you are in a free fall in an elevator. It's incredible. Three years ago, we added 16,000 square feet onto our building. And when we did that, we brought TerraVisions back. These clowns are crazy and insane with axes and bombs and everything else. TerraVisions is over the top in 2011.
Now, last year I had the luxury of doing the behind-the-scenes tour, the lights-on tour of the darkness. I won't be able to do that this year at Transworld because I'm not getting there until Friday, and the tour is on Thursday. But I will be able to do the full lights off with actors tour that's on Saturday night, and I am so looking forward to it. This haunt has everything for everybody, from reptiles, animals, monsters, skeletons, cemeteries, graveyards. Just said that twice. Cemeteries and graveyards, same thing. But it has something for everybody. They have a mirror maze, clowns, everything you can think about that would scare somebody is in this haunted house. I think I saw somewhere it costs upwards of $100,000 a room. $100,000 a room to build. And they got over 40 rooms. That's an insane amount of money. But you can see it in the details. This place is huge. The details are huge. The animatronics and props are huge. Everything is over the top. I love it there. And I can't wait to go back. I'm going to walk into that place. I'm going to feel like I'm home. Because I love haunted attractions. And this one is definitely tops on my list of the best haunted attractions to go to. Well, I think it's time once again for a little Q&A. This question comes from Ghoulish Cop, and he writes in, have you done welding? I recently bought a MIG welder and want to make some frames for pneumatic props with welded materials. Any suggestions on materials, sources, or whether it's even necessary? Well, that's actually a great question, Rich. I mean, I've seen a lot of people these days talking about welders on their videos and in the comments and everything. So this is a good time to talk about welders. And before I get into great detail about it, let me tell you, I am not a master welder in any way, shape, or form. I have taken classes in welding. I have welded with every welder you could possibly think of. MIGs, TIGs, arcs, sticks, oxygen and acetylene welders. I've welded all. I've welded stainless, aluminum, high nickel alloys. I've done a lot of welding. Lately, I really haven't been doing a lot of welding. It's probably been about a year or so since I've even picked up a welder. But I still have some knowledge in my head. I might be a little rusty at welding. I probably couldn't even weld a straight line right now. But I might be able to help you guys out. Now, Rich, you had said that you had bought a MIG welder. But what I think you have is a flux core wire feed welder. A MIG welder, MIG stands for metal inert gas welder. And it uses a gas, either argon or O2 gas, to shield when you're welding. I'm pretty sure what you have is a flux core welder, which uses a flux core wire to use as a shield. So a lot of people have that misconception. They all look the same. I even call this guy here, this is a flux core welder, but I call it a MIG welder all the time. But just so people that are buying welders, you're not looking for a MIG welder if you're looking for a flux core wire feed arc welder, just so there's no misconceptions there. Now, for the purposes of this discussion, I'm not going to go into any other welders. I'm just going to talk about the flux core welders. I'm not going to go on the MIGs or anything like that. I could talk all day long about welders and different types of welders, but we'll just stick with what basically the home haunter is going to use, which is the flux core welder. Now, for those of you that might want to know where to get your welder from, I bought this from Home Depot. This is about a 12-year-old welder. It's an old welder, but it still works beautifully, and it's gotten a lot of use. And it still runs great. It cost me about $375 at the time. I know their newer version now at Home Depot is about the same amount of money. And you can buy cheaper ones. I know, Rich, I think yours is from Harbor Freight. Those run for about $90, and they're fine too. I mean, for what we're using them for, there's no reason to spend the really big bucks on your welder. The big difference between the less expensive ones and the more expensive ones is the quality of the insides. The rollers and stuff that feed the wire through are made out of metal. They're a lot less plastic parts. It's going to last a little longer, and you can weld thicker material. There's a lot more amps coming out of it, and you're going to get weld heavier gauge materials out of it. Now, as for materials you can weld, basically you're going to weld mild steels. You can weld stainless steels, high nickel alloys. You're not going to be able to weld aluminum with flux core. You can weld aluminum with MIGs. You're not going to be able to weld aluminum with flux core. You can find plain old mild steel tubing and flat plate at Home Depot or Lowe's. So you might as well just get it from there. It's not the cheapest place to buy it, but you're not buying a super big amount anyway. So you might as well just pick it up from there. Now, when you buy a welder, you're going to need a couple things with it. Okay, let's not forget about the safety equipment, please. Number one, you're going to need a welding helmet. Without this, you will go blind. And please, please, people, do not look at the light ever. Don't think that you're going to sit there real quick and say, oh, I'm just going to attack this one spot and squint my eyes. It's not going to help. I know a couple master welders, and they are all going blind from welding because over the years of welding nonstop, you know, they look at it real quick, or, you know, their screens weren't good enough to block the light. They're going blind. They got these really thick glasses. Every single one of them, huge thick glasses. Please, not even for a second, keep your helmet on at all times. The next thing you're going to need is a very good pair of welding gloves. Very thick, heavy-duty welding gloves. Get as long as ones as possible so you don't burn your hands and your forearms. Definitely a big must. Also, when you're welding, make sure you wear long-sleeve shirts. Also, get yourself a couple handy-dandy wire brushes, wire wheels to clean up the welds. Also, a grinding wheel to clean your plate before you weld them together. You want to get any paint off of them, any dirt, rust, oil. Make sure it's all nice and clean before welding. Good wire brush is definitely a must. Also, one of the great tools I love are these little magnet mates. They're great for sticking down and getting perfect angles. You can get different angles for different material. And it sticks to metal, and it'll hold your corners butt together nice and square. They're not going to go cockeyed on you. I got a couple different sizes of these, and they're a must-have. Now, I'll give you a couple tips and tricks on welding. It's hard to explain it. I'd rather show it to you, but I can't really show it to you, but you're not going to see it anyway, not with the camera I have. So I'll just run through a couple tips that I have. Number one, go slow. Calm down, relax. Your whole body should just be calm, so you're not shaking while you're welding. And just go slow. Actually, the biggest pointer I can do is tell you is practice. Practice again, practice some more, and just keep on welding. You just gotta weld. That's all you can do. And I would just, when I was in school and I went through a couple classes for welding, all they teach you to do is they give you a plate. It was a 1/2-inch thick plate, and you laid 12-inch beads down this plate and just kept going over and over again. You had to be straight. The bead has to be the same thickness. Each overlap had to be the exact perfect. And we did that. We did that for hours. Just welding beads. But that's a great way to learn. A great way to focus on. So you're not having to weld things together. You're just welding beads. The only thing you have to focus on is that bead itself. It's a great way to practice learning. Another thing, don't pay attention to the front of the welder. You're not paying attention to where your line's coming out. Okay? You're paying attention to the bead. You want to pay attention to that little molten piece of lava that's forming behind your line. Focus on that. Pay attention. It should be the same thickness. It should be the same color. You should be able to hear a constant sound. You shouldn't hear spatter. You should hear a constant sound. Focus on the bead. Don't pay attention to the front of the gun. Focus on the bead itself. You'll see once you start welding what I'm talking about. If you focus on that bead, you're going to get perfect welds. If you focus on the front of the gun, you might get a perfectly straight weld, but your weld's going to be all over it's all going to be different sizes and thickness and different depths. So focus on the bead. Now, like I said, I can go on for days. I can do a whole show just on welding, and I don't want to bore anybody who has no interest in welding at all. So I'm just going to move on from here. But if you have any questions about welding, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them on the next show, or send me an email. Whatever, ask me any question you want, and maybe I can answer it. Or maybe I can ask one of my friend master welders that can answer it for you. And but my biggest thing for you guys, if you're thinking about getting a welder, go get yourself a welder. You're not going to regret it. Want to do a quick haunt news for you. I wanted to give you the updates on the resurrection of Hauntcast. Now, a lot has happened since my last video, and I'm sure most of you have already heard of the new improvements to the show since last time I've talked about it. But just in case you haven't, I want to go over them real quick and try to help get the word out to anybody that might not have already subscribed. I'm hoping most of my listeners and viewers out there have subscribed already. If you haven't, please reconsider. Please go and subscribe. You're not going to regret it. So far, this is the rundown real quick. So far, they need 250 subscribers by March 8th. We all know that. Right now, they have about 135 to 140. By the time you watch this video, they should have more. For that subscription of $100 a year, you will get Hauntcast once a month. You will get the show Shocktail Hours once a month, which is a new show, which they just aired a pilot of last week, talking about horror reviews, book reviews, movie reviews, I think comic book reviews. They're going to be doing a whole, it's like an hour-long show. So you're going to get 2 shows a month now, not just one. They're also going to be releasing a Hauntcast magazine twice a year. That's going to be put on by my friend Jay from Grimlock Manor. He's really excited about doing a magazine, and you'll be able to see his talents in that, because he's a very talented person, and you're going to, whatever he does, I guarantee you're going to love. Also, with the subscription, you're going to get a buttload of discounts, and you'll also be entered into the, as Chris Baker calls it, the bukkake of prizes that you could win. And there's so many of them, I couldn't possibly even talk about it. I will list them for you right here. You can watch this list run, because that is everything that's discounted or maybe get a prize to. It's insanely long. Everybody is jumping into this. He just needs the subscribers to jump in it too. Past the halfway mark. That's very big. Past the halfway mark, but we only have about a week and a half to go. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe. If you're thinking about it, you're just delaying it, please go and subscribe. By the time this show is aired, you're going to miss the interest-free PayPal offer, so I won't even talk about that. But if you want, you can prolong the subscription through PayPal with their Pay It Now program. You will have to pay interest from this point on, but it might help you out. You know, it turns out to like $16-something a month plus interest. But it might help you out to spread that out over the next 6 months. So just to help. I feel it's definitely worth a subscription. I already have my subscription. I subscribed 2 weeks ago. I have it. I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to getting the shows, and I'm really looking forward to getting the discounts, because I'm going to trick my haunt out severely this year if I get all those discounts. I can't wait. Plus, again, you also could win the grand prize, Lizzie Board and Mirror. I showed a video of that last time. Also, Dark Lights came in with a $500 kit for their Dark Light kit. That's another huge prize you could win. You got a 1 in 250 chance to win either one of those. That's insane. That's insane. It's worth it. Please, leave after you're done watching the show. Go over to hauntcast.net, click the subscribe button, pay the subscription. It's worth it. And as this episode of Dead with Dave comes to a close, I want to go over real quick my future plans and some future episodes that you're going to see. On March 15th, you're going to see a very short, quick episode of Dead with Dave. Because Transworld is in a week. By the time you see this, it's going to be a week away. And I'm going to be getting ready for that. I'm going to be doing a lot at Transworld and taking a lot of video there. And I'm not going to be able to put any of that together by March 15th. If you don't know, the Dead with Dave show comes out the 1st and 15th of every month. So I'm not going to be able to get all that video edited by the 15th. It's just impossible for me. So look for the Transworld Extravaganza show on April 1st. It's going to be a huge show just on Transworld. Everything I've seen there, what I like, what I dislike. So please mark your calendars for that. But I'm not going to leave out and just skip a show. I couldn't possibly do that. I have reached over 200 subscribers, and I want to do a 200 subscriber contest. So on my next episode of Dead with Dave is going to be on March 15th. It's just going to be very quick. It's going to be all about a contest for all my subscribers. So please subscribe now so you can be in it. And I'll go over all that on the next show. So please watch the next show to see how you can win. I'm not even going to tell you the prize. It's a really awesome prize. You're going to love it. And on April 15th, yes, I'm planning 2 months in advance. April 15th, we're going to start building our first pneumatic prop here on the show. It's going to be a very simple pneumatic prop that everybody can build with the tools you have at home. Don't even need any special tools. It's going to be very simple so everybody can get into working with pneumatics. So even if you've never even thought about working with pneumatics, you can start here. This is going to be a perfect spot for all the newbies to start. And if you're advanced into pneumatics, it might be just a fun little side project for you to do. So we're going to start from the beginning to the end. We're going to spread it out over a couple episodes so we can take our time and do it right. And I think it's going to be a fun project that we all can do together. So please keep an eye out for those shows. I can't wait to start recording for them. And I really enjoyed recording this episode. I hope all of you enjoyed watching this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. If you have any questions, comments, video questions, send them to me. I like to hear everything. Leave comments below. Click the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And again, thank you all for watching. This has been Dead with Dave.